thing, fam. This is going to be a new thing. So, if you're fortunate enough to catch the live, great. If not, you can watch this back on the recording. This is my short little video on the Lions Gate phenomenon. My 2 cents worth. That's why I'm a big peace guy, but this is my 2 cents worth. Now, if you follow me on Instagram and you happen to catch my live I did the other night on this, there's going to be a lot of repeated information. So if you did watch that, don't watch this because I'm going to just regurgitate what I said back then. But what happened with that live, I did a live on Instagram, went for an hour and a half, and as soon as I hit share, it just blanked out. The whole app disappeared, gone. So the whole hour and a half of content disappeared, and that happens quite often on YouTube, Instagram Live. So I've always wanted to get to a point where I can do Facebook Lives. Sorry, what's this platform? YouTube? My goodness. And I didn't realize I couldn't until I had 1,000 subscribers, but I've looked into it and you can. They just cap the amount of people that can tune in. But obviously, because this is a new phenomenon, not many people will tune in. Here's my take on the Lions Gate. I did some research on the Lions Gate, and basically I went onto Google and I went, because I've been studying astrology since 2014-15. And in all my studies of astrology, in all my teachers and mentors, all the great reputable authors that I've read about, I've never come across anything around Lions Gate before. Now, I was like, why isn't this a thing within the astrological community? Because when I see posts on the Lions Gate, it's always referred to that this is a time referred to by astrologers as being very energetically, cosmically aligned and all of this. And I'm like, why the fuck isn't it something that's taught or that we come across? Now, there is layers to this, and again, this is my 2 cents, so take it with a grain of salt. So I went and I thought, okay, well, let's search Google for Lions Gate portal, and I just want to throw out there that anytime you hear the word portal, I want you to be very suspicious. I want you to be very cautious and curious as to what it is someone is trying to convince you of or tell you about. That word portal is a new age term that has been hijacked and used as if it's like some sort of opening. Now, you came out of a portal that was called your mother's vagina. That was definitely a portal. Is there a portal to different energetic sort of frequencies and all of those types of things? I don't think portal's the right word. I think that there is the ability to tune into certain frequencies, and that the opportunity to tune into different frequencies changes as we go through earth changes, cosmic changes, absolutely. But portal, in the sense of like you're going through a door or a portal or an opening, I think it's a hijacked term. I think it's not the right term to use in this case. So, and it's banded around in the new age community a lot, right? This word portal, and I just think that's what I think. So, on Google, you can search via date. So I looked up Lions Gate portal because that's what it is, right? It's a Lions Gate portal. It's a Lions Gate portal. It's a Lions Gate portal. 8 Lions Gate portal. So I searched from 2000 to 2010. Can't find that term ever used in Google search during that date period. Once in 2008, because we had the 8th of the 8th, 2008, and it was by a website which was called the Sirius Explorer or something like that. It wasn't really detailed in relation to, the Lions Gate. It was more about Sirius, which is tied into what the Lions Gate is about anyway. But it was, so 2000 to 2010 on Google search. You do it yourself. Put in the date range, search the term, look it up, find all the ones. Doesn't appear. 2010 to 2015, it starts to appear around 2015, but like about 7 or 8 posts around on Google about Lions Gate portal around 2015. 2015, 2020, all was just a flood from about 2018, late 2018 and 2019 in particular. Lions Gate portal becomes this phenomenon on Google, and it's just like so much about Lions Gate portal. It's like, where was it in 2007 and 2001, and where was it? It just wasn't part of the collective consciousness or in the psyche, or it wasn't something that we so where were all the astrologers? Because there've been reputable professional astrologers around a lot longer than the last 20 years, 23 years, where are all they posting about this, writing articles and blogs on it? Where is all the content around this? That just isn't there. So already that's a red flag for me. I'm like, there's not much history to this. It's just a new sort of phenomenon. It's another hijacked thing. It's Lionsgate. It sounds great. Lionsgate. 8-8, Lionsgate. It's a portal. It's an energetic portal. It's a frequency. It's the ability to tap into these different, it's like, okay. So, what it actually refers to is that the helical rising of the planet, the star Sirius. Now, the star Sirius is in the constellation Canis Major, which is Big Dog, which is the dog of Orion, right? Orion's constellation has this dog, and in that is the dog star Sirius. And that is in the constellation, the fixed star system or constellation of Gemini. In the zodiac, where Sirius is located, is at 14 degrees of Cancer. So in the middle of Cancer season is when the Sun and Sirius align together in their sort of, loose conjunction. But the helical rising just means that rising at dawn before the sunlight. So you start to see a little bit of first light and you've got a star on the horizon. That's helical rising. And Sirius's helical rising starts in early sort of July and really starts to come into effect late July. And then as the sun moves into Leo, 23rd of July, we then move into this August period, and then we have this 8-8 Lionsgate, the 8th of the 8th Lionsgate. And if you look into why they chose 8th of the 8th, it was numerologically chosen. In other words, they just like the number 8-8 and the numbering 8-8. Well, Sirius is in the constellation Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury's cycle around the sun is 88 days. So really, this Leo Lion gate has a lot tied into Mercury, the planet Mercury. And Mercury's cycle, it's a star in the constellation that Mercury rules, which is Gemini. Gemini rules the mind. Gemini is the twins. Gemini's, there's two aspects to things. Sirius, the dog star, it's actually two systems. It's two stars, two binary stars, Sirius A, Sirius B. Why is it that Apple have chosen to call their artificial intelligence identity Siri, as in Siri, hey Siri, Sirius, let's get serious now. These are a lot of questions, again, that I sort of started to really unfold and go, what is it about this? Why is it so significant? Now, when you look into the mythology of Sirius, Sirius is known as the dog star, but the Egyptians sort of honored Sirius because they tied their start of their calendar into the helical rising of Sirius because it was timed every year when they saw the helical rising of Sirius just before the sun in the morning of dawn in summer, that it was an indicator for the flooding of the Nile. And that was seen as a good thing because when the Nile flooded, it burst its banks and the excess water would flood into the crops and feed them water. So you have the middle of summer and you're getting a lot of water, you generally have bumper crop. So they honored that star as an indicator for this period of time and the flooding of the Nile. So, then you could tie into the mythological spiritual aspect of that component as being a sign of, something that was a fortunate sign, something that brought in something that was good. Obviously, if the crops, you had a good flood and they had a good water in the middle of summer, the crops would benefit, and that would benefit the people. So it'd be seen as something, as a sign of abundance in that sense. So I kind of get that. But there are a lot of connotations to Sirius in the terms of a dog, right? Dog backwards is God. Man is to worship and honor and be obedient servant to God, just as the dog is to man. So as there's like a step down connection to the dog. But then there is a lot of negative connotations when we think about dog as well. My battery's going to go flat here. There's a lot of negative connotations when you think about dog, right? If you're a dog, you're a dirty dog, mate, or that's a dog act, or that's a dog's breakfast, like you made a mess of something. So there are a lot of negative connotations referred to dog. Dog is also where we get the term dog days of summer because it's fucking hot, right? The helical rising of Sirius was always tied into this really hot period of summer. So the dog days of summer, which is like, it's dog days, it wasn't seen to be something that was like amazing. It was something that was unbearable. You also have in the military terms when the planes are fighting, they call that a dog fight. Um, so there is this dual nature, which there's two stars in Sirius. There's A and B. There's a dual nature to it, which means that yeah, there is maybe the opportunity and frequency to tune into like this energy of giving or abundance or something that being fortunate that's coming, such as the flooding of the Nile. But there's also this negative connotation of like, like this is something that you do as a dog, right? And if you think about what Sirius or Siri is in Apple, she's a master, like a servant. Hey Siri, like she's going to come on now if I say it too loud. She comes on, she's like, yeah, yeah, what can I do? Right? So you think of a dog and it wants to be like, yeah, yeah, what can I do? So why are they getting us to tune into the frequency of that energy during the 8-8 Lions Gate? Do they want us to be obedient sort of servants to some other higher, whatever that may be? If they're saying that God or Christ consciousness is associated to this, I would disagree. There is a lot of talk out there around Sirius being the spiritual place or home of our sun. And I don't know about that. I think that's a hijacked, because I feel like our sun, spiritual sort of home would be Aquarius or the fixed star Fomalhaut, Thalem. If you look at the Bible in terms of that mythology, that resonates with me more than Sirius does. So I think Sirius might be part of the system idea to continue to enslave people in this idea that there's something that we can worship beyond the self or beyond the all that's has the same theme as being obedient little like well-behaved dog. So that doesn't really sit a lot with me. And then I think the number 88. So yes, the Chinese say that 888 is a number of luck, but that's the date on 8-8, right? Lions Gate. It was just fictitiously chosen because of its numerological value. It's a date, but it's only the date in the Gregorian calendar. It's not a date in the Egyptian calendar, the Hebrew calendar, the Indonesian calendar, the Sanskrit calendar, like all the different, the Hopi calendar, the Aztec calendar, the Mayan calendar. It's not 8-8. It's just in the Gregorian, which is again, if you go back and trace our calendar and the dating and of all of that thing, like why are we like, it's part of the system, it's part of this control grid mechanism to go onto that date. If someone was to come to me and say, look, I want a date to start something, to initiate something, to put a good intention, to bring about a manifestation or abundance, I'd be looking at the lunar cycle in relation to, I'd be looking at the lunar cycle in relation to like the new moon phase, in that first quarter or even that first half moon phase before we get to the full moon, because the moon's waxing, growing in light, it's bringing something new in. Whereas if it's waning on the other side of the full moon, it's losing light. And that's when you let go and you shed and you release things. Well, the 8th this year is going to be a 3/4 phase waning moon. So we're going to be just after the full moon, we're going to go into this waning moon phase. That if you came to me and said, like, I want to pick a good date to do a manifestation ritual around abundance, I wouldn't say do it on a waning moon. I'd be saying wait for the waxing moon or the new moon, right? Wait for something like that, not the 3/4, which is the final square phase of the lunation cycle. I think that's a place of like adjustment and release and letting go. So if you look a little bit deeper, so this 8-8, right? It's just the date within this period of time. And the portal word gets referred to because the helical rising of Sirius happens for a period and then it stops. Because what happens after that is it becomes way too high in the sky. It's no longer helical rising. So, that is only like a period of influence where Sirius for a period of time, and only probably like maximum a couple of weeks, is helical rising, as known as the morning star, the light bringer, right? And then it's not anymore. So that's where you could get this word portal loosely associated to a period of time. But portal lets you know it's an opening, not just a period of time. I don't think that is necessarily what we could say, that's a portal, we're going to step through a portal, a threshold. It's like, no, Is there the ability to tune into those energetic frequencies? Perhaps, absolutely. But be mindful of what you're going to bring about. The 8-8, right? Again, there's the dual nature and everything. So 8-8 for the Chinese is a symbol of abundance. 88, you can see the occult use of that a lot in subculture. Like you think of the Crazy 88 in the movie Kill Bill, which was the Chinese like triad sort of gang of people that were going to come and you know attack Uma Thurman. But the other thing I found out about 88 is the eighth letter of the alphabet is H. So 88 is HH. And in Nazi Germany, HH was Hail Hitler. And 88 was a number that the Nazi Germans would wear to represent Hail Hitler. So 88 Lions Gate, I'm like, okay, you're still tuning into that frequency as well. So there's more to this. The other point I was going to make was astrology. No, I've covered that. Mythology, the history. There was something else. It's gone like a fart in the wind, but it'll come back to me. But let's just recap, right? I don't know any reputable astrologers that I have either looked up to or had as a mentor or a tutor or that I've read of that really give much weight to Lionsgate. I'd be very cautious of the astrologers that do if they're not just jumping onto this popularity of this relatively new phenomenon. And new because where was it in 2001, 2007, 2010, 2012, 2014, 2017, 2016? Where was it? It didn't really exist in the collective psyche. It's just this new thing. So look, tread lightly. This was the other point I was going to make. If you want to tune into the frequency at the moment in relation to not only this supposed Lionsgate energy or this Sirius helical rising, or at least the astrology. And if you think about a dog is very obedient and to a master, but it wants to do like a dog, go and give me this stick here, go on, yep, and wants to bring something back. It wants to be that, right? So find someone in your life that you can manifest something for. Find a way to pay it forward. Commit a random act of kindness or bank some karma. Make someone else's life feel the love and joy, right? Do something kind for someone else. That would be the best use of this period of time, to do that, rather than trying to sit down and manifest abundance because it's the 8-8 and it's the Lionsgate and you're feeling powerful and you want to bring in all the treasures of your life. Make it about someone else. Don't make it about yourself. There's a powerful Aquarius full moon tomorrow night. That's the me-we axis, me and we. So, yes, fill your cup so it can run over and you can give to others, but focus on others. Focus on a way to make other people's lives better. Don't buy into the hype. Don't buy into the just the latest new age trap, right? That's going to be the thing. Like all saving, all fucking power is within, and it's an aspect of the all, and that's what we are here. So when we just pick one little tiny star in one little constellation and we say that's the thing, and it's like, no, that there is an aspect of that in sense of all creation, but why is that the thing, right? Why is that? And think seriously, serious. Serious. There's a lot of negative connotations with that term in relation to like what it's used for and the way it's used. Think symbolically when you think about this energy. If you want a period of time, wait for the next new moon. It's going to be just after the Venus star point. So I think it's going to be about the 15th or so of August. Wait for the next new moon, 14th, 15th, somewhere around there in Leo. And around that time, you can be doing your manifestation ritual and your abundance. It's technically not going to be in the Lionsgate portal window. But don't think that 8/8 is a great date to do your manifestation ritual. The energy of the cosmos is suggesting it's a time of release, and adjustment, and pivoting and changing direction based on having let go of things rather than bringing things in. And I think that's everything I wanted to cover in relation to Lionsgate 8/8, Sirius's helical rising. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily hitch my wagon to it. If you've in the past had success manifesting around this period of time, fantastic. That's just wonderful. Nothing's going to take away from that. The problem I have is that when we feel like that's the perfect time and the only time and we've got to be doing something. I've had 3 different people in the last week contact me in some level of anxiety, sort of going, well, what do I do? I don't know what to do. It's like, well, don't do anything. Who are you being? Who are you choosing to be? Focus on that. Focus on your heart. Focus on filling your cup. Focus on making life beautiful for someone else. Don't worry about what do you need to do in the sense, I got to do something. No, I don't think so. So this is my first YouTube live, and it's the first of many. And I'm looking forward to eventually getting to the point where there's a lot of you sitting here watching me live. Other than that, you're going to watch this back on the replay. Let me know below what you think of 8/8 Lionsgate. When did you first come across it? What does your gut tell you about it? Do you have an instinct around this? Is there an intuition for you? What have you found out? What have where is there a different perspective and a point of view? I'm only giving you my 2 cents. Tell me your 2 cents. Peace out, guys. Fuck, I turn this off now. Don't even know. How do you stop the thing? No, not that. Let's try that. No. How do you even turn off your... Oh, maybe I do it like that.